Season 16 is nearly coming to a close. But first, the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship heads to the Midwest and Worldwide Technology Raceway near St. Louis. Drivers are excited, yet tentative, about a brand new track layout. And with the championship tightening, every point on the overall scoreboard is extremely important in deciding the championship. All top 32 competitors are ready to go. So let's go inside the championship here in the Midwest, only on Formula Drift Insider. Before the action kicks off at the Gateway of the West in St. Louis, let's take a look back at a different STL in Seattle.
Last event was Seattle, and it's one of my tracks. I've done well. I've won there. Everything was going good into tandem and advanced past top 32 into top 16, where we faced our Falcon Tire teammate Dio Shihara, and he was just a tough battle. You know, I made a mistake, and it put me a little bit off pace. It was still a good run, but Dai didn't make any mistakes. I really can't be too bummed about it, going out against someone that was just doing really well that round. And overall, we came off feeling like we did well there as well. It's just, you can't win them all.
Last round went really good for us. It was round 5 in Seattle, and we got all the way to 4th place, just outside the podium due to qualifying. But car felt good. We had we had some crazy battles. We had a pretty quick car. We had to keep up with some of the fast ones, and we ended up going out to James Dean in the semifinals because I put tires off at the end of the bank. So it's definitely a big no-no. And despite a good chase and the rest of the lead was pretty good, that was enough to lose to James. So.
Seattle was rough. We came in there trying to put on a good show, trying to get some points for the championship, but it didn't go that well at all. Ended up blowing the motor in my first qualifying run. The boys magically got the motor back together. We put down a safe qualifying score that got us in the show, but that meant we met James Dean in top 16. And following the first run, I smashed into James after the finish line, leaving the team with another big challenge, trying to fix the car and get me back out there in 5 minutes.
Last event, Formula Drift Seattle, definitely one of my favorite events on the calendar. It worked out really good for both Peter and I. I managed to qualify second right behind Peter, and we got all the way to the finals where we had a crazy one more time battle with each other.
Oh, last event was a dream event, definitely. I managed to win qualification, I managed to win the competition, met James in the final. I couldn't imagine a better situation in case of a dream round. And it was like that, I managed to win, and it was excellent. Judges decided I won, so I was very happy after that. Especially, both of us after qualification went on 1 and 2, and then after the competition 1 and 2, perfect.
The gentlemen known as the Candy Machine are 1 and 2 in Seattle, but now the hunt is on for the championship in St. Louis.
Formula Drift Insider on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Black Magic. Own your shine. By Gum Out. Science in, performance out. And by Air Force. Aim high.
St. Louis is round 6. There's only 8 rounds. With the championship in sight, Irwindale is just around the corner.
We are very close to being done with the season. The last 2 rounds are kind of like right around the corner. And it would feel amazing to finish off in the top, but I feel like I really have to earn it. I had a lot of momentum going into the season right off the bat, and now I feel like I have to work really hard to regain that momentum. Every driver is feeling it. At the last round, the top 3 guys, we all went out of top 16, which makes it so we have to work very hard. There's no one here that has an easy walk to the championship, and we're getting very close to the end of the season.
Right now, I think we're 2 or 3 points ahead of Odi Bakshis. I actually try and not look at the points, but I do know very well that both Odi, Forsberg, James, Peter, Ryan, they're all nipping at my heels. So we really got to step it up here in St. Louis.
Doing well here would mean everything. You know, we haven't had a win in Formula Drift yet this year, and I just, before the season starts, that's my main aim, just to try to get one victory under our belts to give us a strong feeling again about next year. So yeah, you know, if it happens this weekend, I'm going to be the happiest man in St. Louis.
Oh, this track is very technical. From the inside there is a lot of work fighting for each corner to be on the correct line. From the outside it's not that visible, I think, so it's definitely a lot is going on inside the car, but we need to make it look like it's smooth and nothing is going on actually. So that's our task, and hopefully we'll be able to do that, but it's not easy.
The way to win this event is to try to find fluidity in a very notchy course. We're basically putting outside zones and inside zones on a left turn. So like you're finding apexes on a single turn. It's very mentally challenging. So trying to find fluidity in a course that isn't exactly there is the most difficult part.
So actually we've been running this LS-based V8 for a long time, and the reason is because it's very reliable. This is actually our first time brew up the motor, maybe last 4 to 5 years. Yeah. So it's really not expected. So I was surprised, and I'm pretty bummed, but it is the part of the game. So and that's the reason why we have the spare motor always travel together with this Falcon tire rig. So we're gonna just switch up, and hopefully everything's gonna go perfect afterwards.
All drivers are on the search for perfection, but some just want to survive.
Formula Drift Insider on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Nexen Tire. We got you. By NOS High Performance Energy. How hard will you drive? And by Falcon Tires.
The course at St. Louis was hard enough as it was. But after an oil down and a long delay, drivers were challenged to keep their cars balanced enough just to make it through the track. Wrecks, spins, and overall chaos gave us a wild top 32. But after it's all said and done, many drivers composed themselves and made it directly into the top 16. Notably, James the Machine Dean. He qualifies #1 and is surging here in the second half of the season. Can he make it a perfect event? Being the #1 qualifier, he had a bye run in the 32, but his first stop is against Matt Kaufman in the top 16.
Yeah, we had a great battle with Matt Kaufman. First runs, we both pushed hard, really close to each other. Great, really enjoyable battle. He drove awesome. Went one more time, it got a bit messier. We both pushed really hard. When I was leading, he made contact with me in the last corner, and when I was chasing, I made contact with him. You know, it was really difficult conditions. Sun going down, smoke in both our eyes, but yeah, the judges call it my way. We're moving into top 8. I'm exhausted because the heat here is absolutely sick, but very happy to be this far. Just need to try to get some focus back and see how we get on.
So we just ran Castro. He qualified a lot better than we did. Qualified 25th, and he was looking really good out there earlier, so I knew I had to lay it down. I tried to push really hard on entry, but charged a little too hard and got kind of caught up. I had to run a shallow line, and I struggled for a second to keep up with him and not kind of pass him. Got it sorted out. The rest of the run was really good. I was able to stick right on his door. Even bumped a little bit after the finish line, just trying to push super hard. Turned around on the lead run, laid it down, just tried to lay down the best lead run I could. And he just had a little bobble, a little straighten, and we got the win. So, like I said, Castro's been looking really solid, so happy to get the win.
Yeah, it was a really close battle. Taguchi was really fast, and he has a good line. I tried to follow him, but after I chased him, I was simply hoping for one more time. But when I was leading, I was quite happy about my lead run. I was maybe not as close to the last clipping point as I would like to be, but judges decided that their vote is in my favor, so I'm happy for that, and now I'm focusing about my next battle. Very fun. Really, congratulations.
Next battle?
Yeah. I don't know with whom I'm going yet, but good round.
Yeah, first battle against Forsberg in the top 16 between touch and go 2 and the last inner clip. Forsberg was just kind of floating there, wasn't really going anywhere. And I was coming in committed, just kind of staying with him. And it really didn't seem like he picked the throttle up much. I don't know if he was having an issue or anything, but I got into him and just stayed committed through there. And effectively just kind of, I was kind of on his door all the way through the finish. I don't know if his car shut down or what happened, but I certainly wasn't going to stop. So we just finished the run, and he's just called 5 minutes. So we'll see what happens.
Starting to 5 minutes for Chris Forsberg, due to impact of a 5-minute clock, we're using a phone.
Wheels gotta go on.
That was that upper arm side in, is it?
It's in. Come on, guys.
It was a split decision, saying that it was my fault. I braked too much in that decel zone, and so it was only 5 minutes for me versus 10 for a non-fault collision, plus 5 if we needed it. So we had to swap a whole rear knuckle because he broke it right in half, and there's just not enough time to do that. We could have done it in 10. We were about 2 or 3 minutes away from being done.
Dude, this is crazy. Do my chase on Justin, come into turn 2, and I spin right there on the dime. It feels like my entire left suspension falls off the car. The boys have been checking now. They can't find anything wrong, not the dips, not the suspension. So maybe it was just me hitting the brakes too hard or something like that behind it.
we're gonna try to go to the burnout box and try to see if it's cool to do burnout.
Yep.
Went out and battled. I got to lead Forrest. I had a good time. These Falcon tires work so well, especially when the temperatures drop, and I just had a great time driving. Then it was time to switch. I followed Forrest. I got into some situations where I was like, man, I gotta either stay in it or I'm gonna shut down and straighten out. So I stayed in it, which resulted in a very exciting and fun tandem battle for me, and we got the win. So very excited. I got some work to do to get on the podium.
Chelsea led first and I followed. Right from initiation, I kind of wasn't exactly where I wanted to be. I was about a half a car back, and that Mustang's hooked up right now and it's fast. So I wasn't really able to close that much ground until the later portion of the track. So I wasn't exactly 100% happy with my follow, but I knew I had a hell of a lead run and I just had to push it as hard as I possibly can. Going into the follow run, Chelsea called 5 minutes, have no clue why. So that delays the battle a little bit more. Then as we leave the start line guy called a restart, but it was Chelsea who hit the cones and not me. So then we pulled back around again to get ready to go. And then we finally got to do our run. And leaving outer zone 1, as I transitioned to the touch and go, Chelsea just didn't leave me any room. I was actually just talking to him. I guess he was saying he wasn't expecting the speed of the transition. And I mean, this car transitions really, really quickly. So as I transitioned, he was right there. Hit my left rear wheel, broke the tie rod. I tried to keep going. Wheel was flopping around and then it shredded the axle. So didn't make it very far past inner clip 1.
Reset. I was expecting a transition when you were...
Top 16 with Daijiro, yeah. It was, I knew he was running super clean, solid lines, just like us, nice and smooth. So I knew proximity was obviously going to get the win in this battle. And I just went out there, led the best lead lap I could, hopefully a high 90 score, stylish. And yeah, second lap chasing. Daijiro was super smooth, had a good entry, was able to get right on his door through outer 1. Let him have a little bit of room and then close the gap after we transitioned to touch and go 1 into inner 1. He kind of gapped me a little bit coming out into outer zone 2. I was able to close the door back up as we went to the second touch and go. And then he had a little bit of a slowdown coming into inner 2 on the last turn. And I pretty much had to spin the car out or come to a stop just to avoid contact with him. And judges caught it and we got the win.
This track is extremely challenging. I learned from my mistakes in my previous lead runs to get a really nice lead run. We pulled that off. We kind of pulled away from him in a few places, but overall, really nice run. While chasing, I I knew I had a bit of an advantage and I played it a little too safe. He was faster than I expected on the straight to the first corner, so I had to play catch up. And I was blinded by his smoke in the transition, topped out, kind of in the right place, but I was back a little bit from him everywhere. But we managed to keep it on track, no major mistakes, not as close as I wanted, but I think we won it from our first lead run. It was really nice.
I was going against Van in top 8. I knew from the beginning that it would be an intense battle. I saw his previous runs and I know that he would be pushing hard. And I felt it literally at the end of the run when he seriously pushed me through the finish line. It was what he should do because we are all fighting for the best, you know. So initiate in the moment when he passed me just to be ready to flick behind him. I flicked a bit too early at the initiation, but it was, let's say, in a good moment to complete the first corner. And then simply it floats up to the finish line. I try to stay as close as I could. And in the end, the decision of the judges was that I passed.
I can feel you on the finish. Great job. I popped out of 4th on entry.
Oh, really?
Yes, I banged in 3rd and was able to start getting proximity, but unfortunately that was it. Oh, sorry about that.
No, you shouldn't be.
Part of the game.
Exactly.
It's good. Always good battling you, man. Congratulations.
Oh, man.
Keep it up, buddy.
Appreciate it.
First battle was a really clean, fast, door-to-door battle. Odie is a class act. He's obviously sitting second in the championship. We were swapping hairs out there, trading hairs. It was a really, really fun battle. And then for both of us to be able to step it up for that one more time, it's an incredible feeling. One more time was all out. There was a championship on the line. It was number 1 and number 2 in the standings, going at it with everything they had. It was a battle of the drivers, but more so of the teams and the equipment. And thank you, Odie. That was fantastic fun.
We got a bye run. It's supposed to be up against Matt Field. He unfortunately had a mechanical and they were on their way to getting it done, just didn't have enough time in their 5 minutes. And it's just, you know, it's one of those deals that sucks. It only happens every once in a while. We're moving on to the semifinals. We got Frederick Osbo, who's been a very difficult opponent of mine and my Toyota teammate. So we'll see if we got the strategy to take him down today.
The plot thickens here in St. Louis. Some drivers are elated and others are defeated. More when we return.
Formula Drift Insider on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Black Magic. Own your shine. By Gum Out. Science in, performance out. By Nitto Tire. Fueled by enthusiasts. And by Achilles Radio. Tires you can trust.
As the event progresses, the sun sets, the lights are on, and Werthouse Drift Team rises to the occasion once again.
Yeah, my last run was with going against James in semi-final. In semi-final, it was quite rough for both of us. We both were trying to push hard. There was some errors, there are some mistakes. When James was leading, he made a mistake, as judges decided. And when I was leading, I made a mistake, but James was chasing me better and he deserved the win. He was driving excellent for a whole weekend. And that's visible that he is one of the best drivers in the world. If he can adapt to the new conditions as he does, that's something to be really, really followed. And I'm really happy and proud that I can have such a teammate. And that's excellent, seriously.
Battle with Osbo in the semifinals. The first time of the event that I had to chase on the first lap. So I just geared myself up for that. My spotter said the car is fast as always, super good lines, which he had. I tried to apply as much pressure as I could. He got away from me on the outer touch and go 2. I was able to close the gap and finish strong on inner 2 to the finish line, but it was, I really just had to lay it down on my lead lap, and hopefully Frederick had a little bit of a gap on him as well. So on my lead lap, I actually didn't make it fully into the zone on outer zone 1, and that was pretty much the end of it. Frederick had a really clean, smooth, tight lap with me, and he ended up moving on. So we didn't get a podium. We're sitting 4th place because the other guys had qualified higher than us, and not a bad weekend.
With James, it was almost like it was scripted. James and I going at it in the finals. We qualified number 1 and number 2. And with him qualifying better, I chased him first. Gave it everything I got, fell behind just a little bit. He was lightning quick. And for my lead, I knew it was all or nothing. So I shift into second, pull the shifter straight off. Can't get into third. I do the rest of the track in second. It wasn't enough. I came up a little bit shallow here and there. He takes the win, but overall, it was a great event, and we're super stoked leaving St. Louis with a lot of good championship points.
Yeah, we'll try to take this momentum, keep it going. It's our 4th podium in a row. First win of the year, and we're going back to Texas, a track I really like. So I just need to personally stay strong, get some rest before it, get the car on point, and just try our best. We're battling some of the best drivers in the world, so anything can happen. But for me, I just want to try my best, enjoy drifting for what it is. We all started this to have a good time, so yeah, it's been incredible. So yeah, let's have some fun.
I think it's really important to reflect and think about where we are right now and how that compares to last year. Last year was all about the James Dean and Frederick Osbo show. This year, it's been a hodgepodge of drivers. Ryan Turk's had a win, Osbo's had a win, Odie's had 2 wins, Vincek had his win, and tonight, James Dean got his first win of the season. So now we're talking about maybe something like last year, where Peter and James and Frederick are all right there in the top 3, but Odie Bakshis is also there as well. He went deep into competition, and though that James and Frederick Osbo are going to be leading the championship very, very closely, it's the slimmest of margins between the top 5 drivers.
After an exciting, action-packed round in St. Louis, the championship is still up for grabs. Only 2 rounds left to go. Next stop is Texas. In association with Formula Drift, this has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.